Hey everybody, welcome back to my blog. I just want to thank all of you who've been constantly interacting with my blog, sharing them, sharing your advice and your wisdom and your experiences with me on them. I really appreciate it, and it keeps me motivated to keep making more blogs and putting it out there. This blog is about my editing and revision process. That is where I am at right now in my memoir. So I wanted to start going into it with you all to kind of share what my experience is right now while I'm in this process. First, I want to talk a little bit about how important this process is, and then I'm going to share with you guys how I have kind of structured my editing and revision process. The importance of the editing process. Editing is where you take things that made sense in your head and make it make sense to others. So clarification is a big part of the editing process. Cleaning up your sentences, making sure it's not too wordy, or making sure you haven't left out any information. Because a lot of times what we are thinking in our head does not always come across on the page. Editing is also, of course, where you polish and clean up your work before it's ready to present to others, whether it's in the form of a manuscript to an agent or whether you're self-publishing. Having to edit your work does not mean that you're not a good writer. The greatest writers still need editors. We all need editors. It's not a reflection upon your writing skills. Lastly, editing helps you become a better writer over time. My memoir is not just my memoir, it's also my thesis for my MFA. So how I structured my process is I spent about a good 6 months just writing new essays, new content, things like that. Just focusing on creating, not worrying about editing, not worrying about critiques, nothing like that, just creating. Because if you think too much about editing and revision while you're creating, it can hinder your creative process, because that's more the analytical side of your brain, and you don't want it to get in the way of your creativity. So after I had written a significant amount of essays, reached my goal of 15 essays, that is when I began my revision process. That's when I started to figure out how much time I'm going to spend on just cleaning them up, revising them. So I've given myself 4 months to clean up and revise these 15 essays. I may or may not use all of them, but at least I have a good amount of writing to work with. During this editing process, I'm not spending my energy writing new essays, because that's again a different part of my brain function. So I've turned on the analytical side of my brain now, and yes, every now and then I will get inspired and end up writing a new essay, but my focus is on revising and editing old essays, because I want to keep the analytical side of my brain going, and sometimes that means turning off the creative side of your brain for a little bit. Organization is very important, especially when you have a book. It's a lot of writing. So I created a folder on my computer where I started saving all of the essays, some old ones, the new ones that I was writing. I numbered them according to how I may want them to go into my memoir. I also began allocating time to see which essays need more time to revise or edit than others. This helped me create a work schedule. So, for example, if I knew I had to revise between 2 to 3 essays a week to make it to my goal, my submission date, then I would schedule my days during that week in that way. And I would make sure I have enough time to revise those essays that really need a lot more time, and maybe create less time in the schedule for the essays that are just about finished and pretty polished. Normally, I don't spend more than 3, maybe 4 days on editing my essays every week, because it can be really taxing on your brain to revise the same essay over and over and over again every day. So if it's crunch time and I'm behind or something like that, then I'm like, okay, I need to edit every day this week because I'm behind. In that case, I will edit different essays every day, or sometimes during the same day I'll work on a couple of different essays for less time. The reason I do that is because it's very important to always have fresh eyes when looking at your essays. You You don't want to get bogged down. You don't want to get writer's block or editor's block. You don't want to feel overwhelmed with the editing process, so you have to make sure you take breaks. You have to make sure that you are coming and looking at these essays with fresh eyes. So what I do is I will work for a couple of hours when I'm revising or editing. I'll work on my computer for a couple hours. Then I'll get up. I'll go get a snack. I'll do some laundry. I'll go out, step outside, get some fresh air for like 10 minutes, and then I'll come back in and get back to my revisions. So it's really important to take breaks even during those hours that you are revising, because you need to clear your head. It's very detail-oriented work, and you really can get overwhelmed with it if you don't take breaks. Also, make sure that I sit in a quiet room with a window so that I can every now and then look out the window and give my brain a break, because it gives my brain time to refresh my thoughts and then look back at the essay with fresh eyes. And sometimes when you're working on a computer screen, your eyes just get really tired, really exhausted. So you really need those breaks to be able to look out the window or just walk around, do some chores or anything to refresh your brain and refresh your thoughts. Lastly, to keep me motivated throughout the editing process and to keep me from feeling overwhelmed, I continue to send my stuff to my critique groups. I edit it, I clean it up, and then I send it to my critique groups. That way I can keep getting constant feedback from people that I trust. And so I don't feel like it's all in my head or I'm on my own. It makes the process less daunting for me. So that's all for this blog. In my next blog, I'm gonna continue with this editing revision process that I'm going through right now, and I'm gonna give you guys some tips that I learned from my critique groups, from my professors, and from professional editors. So thank you guys for watching. As you know, you can find me on social media. The links are at the bottom of the page. I hope you guys found this useful, and I would love to hear your thoughts and experiences and advice on this topic as well. So please feel free to share in the comments and share this video with other writers you think it might help. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next week. Bye.